There was a man who couldn't stop thinking about you. He texted first. He made plans. He looked at you like you were the only person in the room. And then something shifted. Slowly. Quietly. He became a little less present, a little less eager, and you couldn't figure out what you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You did something that felt completely natural. You opened up. You made yourself available. You showed him that you said he wanted, and watched him lose interest the moment they did. I've heard this story thousands of times, from brilliant, beautiful, emotionally intelligent women who gave a man exactly what he said he wanted, and watched him lose interest the moment they did. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why that happens. Not to play games, not to manipulate anyone, but because understanding this one dynamic could change every relationship you have from this moment forward. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share is going to feel uncomfortable at first, and then it's going to make complete sense. I want to be clear about something before we go any further. This video is not about playing hard to get. It is not about pretending you don't care, or withdrawing your warmth, or becoming someone cold and unavailable. This is about understanding one of the most fundamental truths about male psychology, a truth that has nothing to do with games and everything to do with how the male brain is wired to experience desire, pursuit, and emotional investment. When you understand this, you stop taking it personally. You stop shrinking yourself trying to figure out what you did wrong, and you start making choices from a place of clarity instead of confusion. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what availability really means, why it affects attraction, and what you can do starting today to shift the dynamic in any relationship without losing yourself in the process. I want to tell you about a woman named Diana. She was 49 when she came to me. Warm, funny, completely self-aware, the kind of woman who should have had no trouble in relationships. She had met someone 6 months earlier. The beginning was electric. He pursued her consistently, showed up fully, made her feel chosen in a way she hadn't felt in years. Then she fell for him. And the moment she did, the moment she started responding to every message immediately, clearing her schedule for him, making herself completely open and available, he began to pull back. Slowly at first, then more noticeably, until one day he simply stopped trying. Diana came to me devastated. She said, "Sarah, I did everything right. I was honest, I was warm, I showed him I cared. Why did that push him away?" I told her, it didn't push him away. It removed something his brain needed to stay engaged. And once I explained what that something was, everything clicked for her. 8 months later, Diana called me from a trip she was taking alone, something she had always wanted to do but kept postponing for relationships. She said, "I finally understand that my life is the most attractive thing about me, and I'm never putting it on pause for anyone again." Here is the truth about male psychology that nobody wants to say out loud. The male brain is wired for pursuit. Not because men are primitive or manipulative, but because desire, for most men, is fundamentally connected to the experience of wanting something they are not yet certain they have. When a woman is fully available, when she responds instantly, clears her schedule, makes him the center of her world before he has earned that place, she removes the uncertainty. And without uncertainty, the male brain has nothing to pursue. The wanting fades. Not because she isn't incredible, but because the brain has already registered, "I have this." And what we have completely, we stop reaching for. This is not a character flaw in men. It is neurological. It is the same mechanism that makes us stop noticing the furniture in our homes or the route we drive every day. Familiarity quiets the brain's reward system. The women who hold a man's attention long-term are not the ones who are hard to get. They are the ones who have a life so full, so genuinely their own, that they are never fully available. Not because they are playing a game, but because they actually have somewhere else to be. That is the difference, and it changes everything. Let me walk you through the 3 specific ways women make themselves too available, usually without realizing it at all. Mistake number 1. You respond too quickly to everything. When you reply to every message within seconds, when you are always reachable, always ready, always there, you train him to take your attention for granted. Attention that costs nothing is valued at nothing. This doesn't mean you should ignore him or play games with response times. It means have a life that sometimes genuinely makes you unavailable. And let that be real, not performed. Mistake number 2. You cancel your own plans for him. When a woman drops everything the moment a man becomes available, cancels plans with friends, rearranges her schedule, puts her own priorities aside, she sends one clear signal. You are more important than my own life. That signal feels like love to a woman. To a man's subconscious, it signals something different. She has nothing pulling her away from me. And a woman with nothing pulling her away from him is, paradoxically, less magnetic than a woman who has to choose to make time for him. Mistake number 3. You make him the emotional center of your world too soon. When a man becomes the first thing you think about in the morning and the last thing at night, when your mood rises and falls with his attention, he feels that weight, even if he can't name it. And it changes how he moves toward you. Because desire cannot survive the pressure of being someone's everything before it has had time to grow into something real. So what does this actually look like in practice? How do you stay warm and genuine and open without making yourself too available? It comes down to one thing. Your life has to be real, not performed, not strategic, real. A woman who has genuine friendships she prioritizes, work she cares about, interests that light her up, plans she won't cancel. That woman is naturally, effortlessly, magnetically unavailable in all the right ways. She is not playing hard to get. She is simply someone who already has somewhere to be. Here is what I tell every woman I work with. Before you met him, what was your life like? What did you spend your evenings doing? What plans did you make without checking with anyone first? Go back to that life, fully, immediately. Because the version of you that existed before you started organizing your world around him, that is the version he fell for. That is the version with the full schedule and the independent mind and the life that didn't need him in it. That is who he was pursuing. And the moment you set that life aside to make room for him, you removed the very thing that made you magnetic. I want to go deeper for a moment, because this isn't really about men at all. It's about you. The reason most women become too available has nothing to do with strategy or naivety. It has to do with the way women are taught to love. We are taught that love means giving everything, that if you hold anything back, you are not fully committed, that availability is proof of devotion. But here is what I have learned after a decade of working with women in every kind of relationship. The women who give everything, who make themselves completely available, who pour themselves out for a man before he has shown he can hold that gift with care, those women do not end up more loved. They end up more taken for granted. Real love, the kind that lasts, the kind that deepens, the kind that makes a man stay and grow and choose you again and again. That love is built between two people who each have a life worth choosing, not between a woman who has made herself his entire world and a man who has simply accepted the invitation. You are not a supporting character in someone else's story. You are the main character in your own. And the moment you start living like that, fully, unapologetically, without waiting for his schedule to determine yours, everything shifts. I want to speak to you directly now. If you are watching this and recognizing yourself, if you have been the woman who responded too quickly, who cleared her calendar, who made someone else the center before she finished becoming her own, I want you to hear this. You did not do something wrong. You did something human. You loved the way you were taught to love, openly, fully, without reservation. That is not a flaw. That is a gift. The only question is whether you are giving that gift to someone who has shown they deserve it, or giving it away before you even know the answer. Starting today, I want you to try one thing. Before you respond to his message, finish what you were doing first. Before you clear your evening for him, ask yourself, what did I actually want to do tonight? Before you make him the center of your attention, make sure your own life is full enough to have a center of its own. Because the most attractive thing you will ever be to anyone is a woman who is completely, genuinely, joyfully absorbed in her own life. Not because that makes you hard to reach, but because it makes reaching you feel like something worth doing. If this video resonated with you, if it named something you've been feeling but couldn't quite articulate, leave me a comment below. Tell me which of the 3 mistakes you recognized in yourself. I read every single one. And if you know a woman who is going through this right now, who is confused about why a man pulled back after she opened up, please share this video with her. Because every woman deserves to understand this before she gives any more of herself away. Subscribe if you haven't already. Every week, I share honest conversations about men, relationships, and what it truly means to show up for yourself first. I'll see you in the next one.